special Mother's Day tribute from Convo with You. So I hope you enjoy it and stay tuned.
So we just gonna jump right into our Mother's Day tribute. So I'll start. All right. So for me, my tribute is to Miss Michelle. She's gonna kill me for saying her name on camera. I love my mommy. And my tribute is really how she showed me how to be strong. She showed me that even though you have things going on in your life, you still have to endure. For me, I was a teenage mom, and she was not that mother that was like, oh, my baby's but she look, get up, make your doctor's appointment. No, I'm not watching the baby. But it taught me to be strong and made me responsible. So, Mom, thank you so much for teaching me how to be strong, how to be responsible, and how to love on my kids and to be an example. So, happy Mother's Day!
Happy Mother's Day.
I guess I can go next.
All right.
My mom, she won't get to see the show. She's in a nursing home, and she's 91, and no longer aware of things on a general basis. But I just remember Mom. She was always the giver and always encouraging to me. I was a sickly child, and my mom, even though she had 3 other kids, she never let me know that it was tiring or a burden when she was running back and forth to the hospital or taking me back and forth to the doctor. I had to go take shots twice a week, and on the bus we would go, and she never complained. She would always use those moments to talk to me, and we held conversations. So we kind of like girlfriends by the time I got to be a teenager, and we would gossip and watch the neighbors. You know, look out the window, and she had great ears, so when people were arguing, she could hear the words, and I could, Mommy, what did they say? So those moments, I do remember them. And my mom was a giver, and she was a comforter, and she always was an encourager. And so, Mom, I give you a salute. You were a great mom. Thank you.
All right, so I think I'll go next. Okay. All right. So my mother, Dale, yes. I love you dearly. Let me start with saying that. Some of the fondest memories I have of my mother is when I saw her helping others. And my mom really always took out the time. What I remember most about my childhood was her relationship with her mother, and how my mom would really take out the time to spend those precious moments with my grandmother, connecting with her. Every Friday, we would be at my grandparents' house, and my mom would make it a point to really just sit down and have a conversation with my grandmother, and really spend those moments just eating dinner and talking and chatting into the wee hours of the night, and then we would go home. Another time I thought about, as I pay tribute to Dale, my mom, is that the fact, is the fact that my mother took care of my grandmother when she was sick. And I can remember those moments where my mother would just really demonstrate the love of Christ, and being so compassionate with my grandmother, and just having this sincere concern, but also really doing this while she was taking care of a family, and even taking care of us, and working and doing all of these things at the same time. I saw that my mother really had a genuine love for my grandmother, and she also extended that out to us. So, Mom, I salute you. I thank you. You are a helper to me even today, and I love you so much, and look forward to many Mother's Days in the future.
All right. Well, I'm on the other end of it. My mom is deceased. She has not been with me for many years, and she died on a Mother's Day many years ago. And so it was Birdie May, and
Birdie May.
Yeah, Birdie May. And I didn't used to like Mother's Day. I used to hate and despise Mother's Day. because of that. But I learned through the years to how I would give tribute to her is to remember some of the good things that she did, some of the things that she left, poured into me. She was really family oriented, and she loved family, and her and her mother were so close. They were very close. And she showed how she loved her kids. She really wanted to pour into her children. So on some Mother's Day in the past, I had to force myself to really just get those remembering the good things, the good points, because you can isolate yourself and get into a place where you just don't want to do anything, and some things may be raw right now for some of you whose mother is not with you, but just try to remember some of the good things. And so I remember, just like I said, her being family oriented and loving her children. She loved her children, and so I salute my mom, Bertie Mae, and I just know she is with the Lord right now. So just remember, I just want those whose mother, it could be just really raw right now. And if your mother's not with you, try to not isolate yourself. Try to be with someone during this time. And you guys, they can take you out, or you can ask them, can they take you out to dinner or somewhere? So don't isolate yourself. Just remember some of the good things that you can pull away from when your mother was living.
So that brings up a good point that you made, Joyce. So tell us how Mother's Day started. How did that come about? Long ago, either Joyce or Deb.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of the person, but a lady. Go ahead, Deb. You got the story.
Well, it said, and you can Google it, of course. You can Google it. The official Mother's Day holiday arose from the efforts of a woman following the death of her mother, and not while her mother was still living. On the 1-year anniversary of her mother's death, which was May 9th, Anna Jarvis held a small memorial service at her home with a few friends to pay tribute to her mother. And so that's what I was kind of like saying,
yes, exactly.
to hold some kind of tribute or something, so that you can not just be alone that day, because it is a sad moment. I used to isolate myself all the time on Mother's Day.
Mm-hmm.
I would just isolate myself. I didn't take any phone calls or anything like that. And it really just left me with a bitter feeling about people who had their mothers. Mm-hmm. I was so angry with people who had their mothers. But, as time passed, and as I just allow myself to remember the good things, yes, and some of the things that she poured into me, mm-hmm, it healed. And not saying it healed right away, but it's a step by step. Just try not to isolate yourself.
Mm-hmm. And I was the only one that did not mention my mother's name. My mother's name is Annie Bell, but everyone called her Annie B. So Annie B. Annie B is my mother. But I always called her Mom, so I always thought that's Mom.
Right.
But hi, Annie B.
First of all, being that mom that is loves the Lord, and that is a praying mother that prays for their children.
What do I think are some qualities of a good mom? I would have to say laughter. I think laughter is really medicine to the soul, like the Bible says.
So if your home is tore from the floor up that day, sit right in the middle of that mess and have yourself a good laugh. Having a sense of humor. It's laughter is good for the soul. It is good medicine.
It's just really easier to talk to, a mom that's approachable. And there's no way to be more approachable than to have a good laugh with your kids. So I think that's one good quality.
Being able to extend patience to your children is a must. As a believer, the Bible tells us that we should extend out patience to each of our kids because we're commanded to do so. It's one of the fruits of the Spirit. Paul talks about it. It's not an option for us as believers. We have to show patience and demonstrate it with others. And so as moms, where can we do that best? With our kids. I know it's not easy, but sometimes we want to reflect on what Christ does for us, and He's often patient with each of us. So remember that when you're interacting with your children.
Being a mom that has that unconditional love. You don't show favoritism, and you, no matter what they do, that you can let them know that they hurt you or that wasn't a good choice, but that you love them unconditionally.
Self-sacrifice. My mom was the queen of self-sacrifice. I mean, she sacrificed everything at her inconvenience, her space, her time, her car, her home. It just didn't matter. She was a self-sacrificing woman, and that showed me how to express sacrificial love to my children. And I just think that's a really good quality every mom should have.
To live in the moment. You know, oftentimes we as moms think about getting from point A to point B on time, or getting to the place or a goal or a destination, and we're so focused on getting there that we forget to live in the moment. Oftentimes I think about the interactions that I have with my youngest daughter. You know, it's getting up and getting ready to go to school, and I get into the space of, hey, I have to be on time at work. I have to make sure that everything is done and taken care of, and so I put that added pressure onto my 6-year-old, and that's really not necessary. It's not right. And so I've learned to put extend patience, but also understand that I want to enjoy the moment. I'm not just kicking her out of the car in the morning, dropping her off at school. I actually want to make sure that I build in that time to live in the moment, to just have a word of prayer with her before she gets out of the car, or to even be in the space where I can walk her up to the door, not in haste, but being able to enjoy the space that's between point A and point B.
And also listen well and support well. Your children should know that you're approachable, that they can talk to you about any and everything, and that you won't fly off the handle and start going crazy, but that you will listen well, and that you'll support their interests, that you can't live your life through them. You can't live your life from what you couldn't do and try to make them do it. What are they interested in? So listen and support well.
So another quality I think a good mom should have is discipline. Not always the harsh, tough love kind of discipline, but the discipline that encourages your child to be a better them. The discipline that motivates them and encourages them, that really helps them to do right once they learn what's right. And I think tough love has its place as well, but I think discipline has so many different facets that we have to explore all of them, and really discipline our children the way Christ disciplines us. And I think that's just an awesome example to have, and a quality to not only have as a mom, but to pass down to your children so they can pass it down to their next generation.
Extend out grace. Grace is so important when you interact with your children. You know, as a mom, we often want things to be done right the first time. We want them to be done correctly. We want to make sure that things are running absolutely smoothly. But what I want you to remember is that Christ extends grace out to you each and every day. And we need to make sure that we are demonstrating that with our children. We have to share the gift of grace. The reality is, whether your child is 6 years old or 23, they still need grace.
So have a great Mom's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. So Exodus 20 verse 12 says, honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long upon the land which the Lord your God is giving you.
Good.
Yes.
Honoring.
Yes.
That's
yes.
the key word, honoring.
Yes.
How do you honor your mother for this Mother's Day? We'll talk about fathers later, but how, and most of us think that we have to bring a gift, but I don't think mothers are so much looking for a gift, but your presence. They want time with you, sitting down, talking to you. You know, if you bring a card, say something about how you feel in that card, rather than just, here's a card because I'm supposed to bring a card.
Right.
But I think it's the intent of the heart when you're honoring your mother. It's like, I'm your child and I love you and I want to spend some time with you to show you how much on this special day. And that should go on for all year, not just that one day.
And I want to interject that some of you may have spiritual moms or adopted parents. Whoever were your guardian might not have been the actual person who birthed you because of some situation or whatever. So those are still, still people to honor. There's still your mothers in your life in some form or fashion.
So you have a spiritual mother.
Yeah.
Tell us about her.
Alta Davis, Dr. Alta Davis. Yeah, she is. She pours into me. She challenges me. She corrects me. She loves on me, and I just love our relationship. Our relationship started from a previous church I was in, and we just became close. And she's a praying woman, and that's what drew me to her. And so she prays, she cares, she loves, and she has other children. She has her children, but I still feel like I'm her daughter. And so I honor her today also, just for willing to pour into me and willing to care. I mean, she's willing to care and willing to just say, hey, shape up. What you doing? Let's get going. Let's get moving. She'll give you assignments, but I love her too. So just those kind of people in your life. There's many different types of people, and that doesn't have to be the person that birthed you, because like I said, some of those situations might not be healthy situations right now or whatever, but just honor those people that have poured into you.
But even though she birthed you, that's the important part. She did birth you. That's because she could have done something else and you could not be here. But the fact that she birthed you, and even if someone else had to raise you, mother did the best thing by birthing you, and was wise enough to let someone else raise you.
And that's why I like the scripture in Psalms 139:13, where it says, "For you formed my inward parts, you knitted me together in my mother's womb." So the Lord chose that womb to house you in, no matter how that person was or treated you or whatever. He housed you in that womb, and she carried you, whether she was good, bad, or ugly. She carried you.
She carried you.
And she didn't abort you.
Right.
And
those 9
so,
months.
Yes.
So we were talking about, we were getting into how do you honor, like what are some things we could do
spending time
throughout some hints.
So what else?
Right.
Spending time, of course, but
I
not
like
so
this.
much the gifts.
Yeah.
I'd rather spend time. So I'll go visit my mother, and although her conversation is not of this world anymore, but I still sit and listen, because she just had 62 babies, See, so, at 62.
And explain that, 62 babies, because her mind is.
Her mind,
right.
she has dementia, and it's an advanced stage, and so whatever she dreams or imagines is reality to her. And so I have to remember this is her reality, and I can't sit there and deny Mama is not real. I just go along with and enjoy her happiness and her joy.
Right.
You should see the smile on her face when she talks about all these 62 babies she just had, and this new husband that she has. So it's she has a 33-year-old husband. So I can enjoy the presence of just whatever her conversation is. Where it is now, I can still enjoy it because she's my mom. She took care of me. I love her, and I can join into her fantasies. So that's one way I pay tribute to her.
And one of the ways I think I'm on the other side, I love presents. So you can give me a gift. But, I also think about it's the thought behind whatever you provide. So it doesn't have to be something expensive. It doesn't have to be things that are name brand or high quality. It's the thought behind it. And oftentimes I try to think of my mother and say, well, what would be something that will make her look back and say, I really appreciate this because they took out the time to think of me, or to provide something that I may not necessarily want for myself. And so I try to do gifts like that for my mother. Maybe a massage, or even if I take her out to dinner, is okay, where do you want to go? What are some things you'd like to do? So even just taking out the time to ask the question to your mom, or to really even say, let me observe what my mother is doing, and just kind of see some things that she may need or want, and she may not necessarily buy on her own. Let me provide those things to her, so that she can feel good, on that day. But it also goes back to another thing I'd like to say is honor your mother every day. As we read the scripture, to be able to understand that it's not just about Mother's Day. It is about really paying honor to your mother every single day, because she housed us in her womb. You know, she took out the time to go through those 9 months to birth us, but on the other side of that, she cared for us, because at one point in time, none of us, not one single person on this earth, could have taken care of themselves as a baby. And so knowing that we have something to be grateful for, but to also know that God gave us the mother that we have.
Yes.
So it's not about, you know, as Joyce was talking about her mother not being in her right mind because of dementia. It's not even about the quality or standard. It's the presence.
Yes.
Being connected to another human being, you know, is a miracle within itself. So make sure that you connect with your mom. Don't think of it as what they do right or wrong, but just make sure that you connect and you find something that you can say in a moment to give honor to them, no matter what they've done or where they are in their lives. Take a moment out to recognize them for what they did.
Yeah.
And I'll even say, just to end the conversation so we can wrap it up. We know y'all got dinner plans and y'all got stuff to do.
Yes.
But, you know, it's when mothers, because just talking about our mothers, my mother is different. I try to give her what I think she needs, and give your mother what she wants.
Yes.
We rented a room for
Yes.
her, and she's like, she checked out the next day. We tried to get her a massage. She's like, no, I don't want. She didn't want a massage. But when we write her poetry, or we'll, Mom, what do you need? You know, and she'll, well, I need this, or we'll give her that. But give people, and not just mothers, but just in general, give people what they need, not what you want them to need. And so that goes into even, you know, Mother's Day, especially considering all the sacrifices they made, and just being mothers in general. You know, it's not easy. We all mothers on this couch, and it's just not easy. So just dote on your mother today. Dote on your grandmother. Even those that have passed on, you know, pull out the pictures, share some memories, some tears if you have to. But just honor your mother today. So you heard from us. If you want to leave some comments below, go ahead. Feel free. We want to hear from you. So
Happy
enjoy your
Mother's
day.
Day.
Enjoy your day.